Duh.
Dad?
Chicago, late afternoon. Cole Harrington walks his 5-year-old past a diner, a blue-striped newborn beanie in his pocket like a promise. His son freezes. Outside, a boy the same age, same eyes, same dimple, stares back, then bolts into the crowd. Cole's heart slams. He was kept from the delivery once. What else was kept from him? If that little beanie has a twin, could his family have one too? Cole Harrington's polished shoes echoed down Main Street as the late sun spilled gold across downtown Chicago. Beside him, 5-year-old Ethan clutched a dog-eared book and skipped, unaware of the quiet storm brewing in his father's heart. Cole glanced down, offering a warm, practiced smile. "How was school, champ?" Ethan shrugged. "Miss?" "Barlow says I read like a second grader," Cole chuckled. "You do have a CEO's vocabulary." That got a grin. But beneath the banter, Cole's mind drifted. Every time he saw Ethan smile, his heart filled and ached. Because the day his son was born, Cole had stood, just outside the delivery room, barred from entry by a nurse citing unexpected complications. And when Lauren finally emerged, pale and distant, something between them had changed. She never explained. Within a year, they'd divorced. Since then, Cole held on to one thing from that day: a blue-striped newborn hospital beanie. He kept it in a velvet-lined drawer in his penthouse, touched it on Ethan's birthdays. It was the only proof he'd ever been part of the beginning. "Can we get milkshakes?" Ethan asked, pointing toward a retro-style diner with checkered tiles and neon trim. "Sure." Cole smiled, relieved for the break in thought. They crossed the street. That's when it happened. Ethan froze. "Dad?" he whispered, tugging Cole's sleeve. "Look." Cole followed his son's gaze to the alley beside the diner. A small boy, ragged hoodie, jeans too short, smudged cheeks, was digging through a trash bin. But it wasn't the poverty that made Cole's heart stop. It was the face. The boy turned, and, for a moment, time bent. The same wide, curious blue eyes, the same dimple on the left cheek, the same tousled brown hair, even the same way he stood, weight on the left, slightly pigeon-toed. "Dad," Ethan said again, voice rising, "he looks just like me." Cole blinked. He took one step forward, instinct overtaking thought, but the boy spotted him. Eyes widening in panic, he dropped a crumpled sandwich wrapper and bolted, disappearing into the crowd before Cole could call out. "Wait!" Cole shouted, already running to the corner. Too late. Only the echo of a hurried footsteps remained. Back at his side, Ethan's voice trembled. "Was that my twin?" Cole crouched, heart thundering. I don't know, buddy. But we look the same." Cole stared at the alley's mouth, his breath shallow. "Yes, you did." They didn't get milkshakes. Instead, Cole brought Ethan home and read him his favorite book twice. After Ethan fell asleep, Cole sat at his desk, fingers grazing the beanie in the drawer. It couldn't be. Twins? Without his knowing? He thought of Lauren, how she never spoke of that night, how she avoided questions, how she left. Outside, the city lights flickered on. Inside, a father sat frozen, haunted by a glimpse of what might have been. And the question that burned now wasn't who that boy was, it was what Cole was going to do next. The next morning, Cole left the office early. Ethan was already at school, and for the first time in a decade, Cole's calendar was cleared for one reason only: to find the boy. He retraced his steps downtown, walking past the corner diner where it all began. The sun hung low over the buildings, casting long shadows over the sidewalk. The alley was still damp from last night's rain, and a stray receipt fluttered near the trash bin. He stood there a moment, hoping for a sign. Nothing. But Cole was no stranger to patience. In business, he'd waited months to close billion-dollar mergers. Today, he was waiting for something far more personal at noon. A figure appeared at the alley's edge. The boy. Same hoodie, same smudged cheeks, same darting eyes scanning for threats. He tiptoed toward the trash bin and quietly began rummaging again until Cole stepped forward. "Hey," he said softly, hands raised. The boy startled and backed against the wall, eyes wide. "I'm not here to hurt you," Cole added quickly. "I brought something." He held up a brown paper bag. "Ham sandwiches and milk." The boy's lips parted, suspicious but hungry. Cole sat on a nearby crate, leaving the bag between them. "I'll leave it here. You don't have to talk." For a long minute, the boy stared. Then slowly, he approached, grabbed the bag, and stepped back into the shadows. He tore into the sandwich like he hadn't eaten in days. Cole watched, every movement of the child drawing echoes of Ethan, right down to the way he licked mustard off his thumb, then wiped it on his sleeve. "What's your name?" Cole asked gently. The boy hesitated. "Liam." Cole nodded, swallowing the knot in his throat. "I'm Cole." Liam looked up, then down again. "You talk like the men in suits." "That's because I wear one too," Cole said, managing a smile, "but today I left it at home." Liam kept eating. Then, between bites, he muttered, "You're not going to take me somewhere, right?" "No," Cole said, voice steady. "Not unless you ask me to." Liam relaxed, just a little. "How old are you?" Cole asked. 5. Cole's heart jumped. "When's your birthday?" Liam looked wary again. "I don't know the exact day." Cole didn't press, but inside, everything clenched. Ethan had just turned 5, same age, same face, same everything. He stayed with Liam for a while longer, chatting about nothing, how pigeons steal fries, how loud the L train is, how ham tastes better with pickles. Eventually, Liam yawned and curled against the alley wall. "Do you stay here?" Cole asked. The boy nodded. "Sometimes I go to the old church. It's warm there." Cole's throat tightened. "Where are your parents?" Liam looked down. They crashed. The Thompsons. They were nice, but now I'm here." Cole barely breathed. "I'm sorry, Liam." Silence fell again, thick with the weight of too much for a child to carry. "I gotta go," Liam whispered, clutching the bag. Cole nodded. "Same time tomorrow?" Liam hesitated, then gave the tiniest nod before slipping away into the alley's rear exit, disappearing like smoke. Cole stood there long after he left. Back at his penthouse that night, he tucked Ethan into bed and watched the boy sleep, chest rising in peace. Then he stepped into his study and opened the drawer again. The blue-striped beanie stared back at him. His fingers trembled. He didn't know what was going to come next, but whatever it was, he wasn't turning away. Cole didn't sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, Liam's face appeared. The smudge across his cheek, the way he clutched the sandwich, the flash of fear that gave way to quiet trust. But more than anything, it was the way he moved. Not just looked like Ethan, moved like him. That small adjustment of the left foot before stepping, the tilt of his head when unsure, even the way he tucked his chin when listening. Those weren't just coincidences, they were echoes. The next morning, Cole returned to the alley. This time he brought 2 sandwiches, a juice box, and a small thermos of chicken noodle soup. Liam was already there, waiting, half hidden behind the bins. "You came back," he said quietly. "You too." They sat together again, this time with a little less distance. Cole watched him eat, watched the way he sipped the soup and pressed his lips together afterward, just like Ethan did when something tasted like home. After a few minutes, Cole asked gently, "Do you remember when you were born?" Liam gave him a look like he'd asked about rocket science. "No," he said. "I just remember the Thompsons picking me up." I was little. Cole nodded, careful not to push. "You ever go to the doctor?" "Once, with the Thompsons." There was a lady with a blue fish tank in the lobby. Cole made a mental note. Pediatric clinics with marine-themed waiting rooms. Liam finished eating and licked the last drop of soup from the rim of the thermos. "Thanks," he said, wiping his mouth. "You're welcome." A beat passed. Then Liam, fiddling with his sleeve, mumbled, "Why are you nice to me?" Cole looked at him, really looked, and realized the boy wasn't used to kindness without conditions. "I guess," Cole said, "you reminded me of someone I care about." Liam glanced up, eyes narrowed. "Your kid?" "Yes." "What's his name?" "Ethan." Liam was quiet for a second. "Weird. That name feels like I heard it before." Cole's heart skipped. "Maybe you have." "Is he nice?" "He's the best part of me." Liam nodded. "I'd like to meet him." Someday, Cole almost reached out, almost said the words that burned his tongue, but instead, he swallowed them. Instead, he said, "Maybe we'll make that happen." Before they parted that day, Liam did something unexpected. He reached into the pocket of his frayed sweater and pulled out a balled-up scrap of paper. "Found this in my old stuff." "I don't know what it means." Cole unfolded it carefully. On it, scribbled in fading ink, was a partial name of a clinic and a hospital laundry tag number. "May I keep this?" Cole asked. Liam nodded. "I don't want it." Cole held the paper like it was glass. Later that night, after Ethan was asleep, Cole placed a call. "Marcus," he said when the private investigator answered, "I need your help. Give me the basics. A 5-year-old boy, first name Liam, possibly born same week as Ethan, adopted, parents deceased. I have a sweater tag and a note, hospital code. Yeah, St. Mary's, I think, and a pediatric clinic, partial name only." There was a long pause. "I'll start with hospital supply chains and cross-reference with clinics that used marine themes in their decor." Cole blinked. "You can do that?" Marcus sighed. "Cole, I helped you unseat a Fortune 100 CEO using nothing but an invoice and a phone bill. Give me 48 hours. Cole smiled for the first time that day. "Thanks, Marcus." He hung up and walked to Ethan's room. His son slept soundly, arms tucked under the pillow, a corner of his superhero blanket hanging off the bed. Cole gently lifted it back into place. Then, almost involuntarily, he whispered into the quiet, "I think you have a brother." Marcus called less than 48 hours later. "I have something," he said, his voice low but clipped with energy. "Meet me at your office." "I don't want to do this over the phone." Cole canceled every meeting on his schedule. By noon, they were seated in his 40th floor office overlooking Lake Michigan. Cole's assistant brought in coffee, but neither man touched it. Marcus opened a file and pushed it across the table. "I traced the hospital laundry code. St. Mary's, South Chicago. Small maternity wing. The sweater Liam had was definitely from their newborn unit." Cole leaned in. "The scrap of paper mentioned a pediatric clinic." Marcus continued. "It matches a now-closed practice 3 blocks from St. Mary's, Lakeside Pediatrics. Closed 4 years ago. The same year Ethan was born, and Liam," Cole murmured. Marcus nodded. "Birth dates align almost exactly. Ethan's files confirmed delivery on January 7th. St. Mary's only had one other male birth that week, processed under private adoption. No biological family listed." Cole stared at him, silent. "There's more," Marcus said, voice tightening. "A fire in the records room 3 years ago destroyed a huge portion of birth charts from that winter. But I found someone. Marcia Bell, a retired unit clerk. She remembers that week." Cole looked up. "And?" "She recalls a high-stress night. 2 deliveries within minutes of each other. One baby went to the NICU briefly. One was taken to a temporary adoption coordinator. Marcia said it always felt wrong. The coordinator was later reprimanded for, let's call it, procedural irregularities." Cole's throat dried. "So, Liam was likely born that same night, at St. Mary's, and sent off without full parental consent." Cole pressed his palms against his desk. "They told me Lauren had complications. That I couldn't go in. I'm guessing she wasn't told either," Marcus said. "Or someone wanted her to stay quiet." The silence between them thickened. Marcus closed the folder. "What do you want to do?" "I want proof," Cole said, "before I tell Ethan. Before I tell Liam. And Lauren?" Cole looked out of the window. "She and I barely speak. I don't know what she knew, but I'll find out." Later that afternoon, Cole returned to the alley. Liam was already there, sitting cross-legged on a flattened box, humming softly as he tapped his fingers against his knees. Cole brought chicken nuggets this time. As they ate, Liam chatted easily, about the bird he'd seen perched on the fire escape, about how someone left crayons at the church pantry and he'd drawn a lopsided tiger. "You like drawing?" Cole asked. Liam nodded. "But it's hard when you're always moving." Cole hesitated. "You ever think about staying in one place for a while?" Liam glanced up sharply. "Like a shelter?" "No," Cole said quickly. "Not a shelter. A home. With someone who cares." The boy's shoulders tensed. "People say that. Then they leave. I wouldn't." Liam didn't speak, just kept his eyes on the nugget in his hand, the corner of his lip twitching. Then he said quietly, "I liked the soup." And the ham sandwich. Cole smiled gently. "There's more of that where I live." Still silence. Then, out of nowhere, Liam asked, "Do you believe in things coming back?" Cole blinked. "What do you mean?" "Like something you lost." Finding it again, Cole thought of the beanie in his drawer, of the hallway where he waited that night, confused and helpless, of Lauren's cold, distant eyes in the weeks that followed. "I do now," he said softly. Liam looked at him, eyes cautious but open. And in that moment, Cole knew, he wasn't chasing shadows, he was finding his son. Two beanies, and a truth neither had words for yet. Two beanies, and a truth neither had words for yet. Cole didn't sleep that night. The two beanies sat on his desk side by side, like two pieces of a story finally found. He stared at them under the desk lamp, the identical stitching patterns, the faint hospital smell that still lingered in the fibers. They were from the same place, the same day, the same newborn batch, twins. It was the only explanation. But explanations weren't enough. He needed answers. Proof. Something no fire, no lie, no silence could erase. At dawn, he called Marcus. "I want to find someone who was in that delivery room." A nurse. Anyone. Marcus responded without hesitation. "I have a name." Donna Hayes, veteran nurse, retired but still consults occasionally. She was working the maternity wing that night. She's the only one still in Chicago from that team. "Can you reach her?" "I already did." She agreed to meet, but she sounded nervous. Cole nodded. "Set it up." They met that afternoon at a small cafe in Hyde Park. Donna Hayes, in her late 60s, wore a soft lavender cardigan and thin-framed glasses. Her hands trembled slightly as she stirred her tea. Cole sat across from her, the blue-striped beanie resting quietly on the table between them. Donna stared at it for a long time. "I remember this pattern," she said, voice low. "We only had a few dozen of them that winter. Came in a single shipment. St. Mary's was small. Every baby got one." She looked up, eyes wet. "I remember you, too." Cole leaned in. "You do?" "You were the man pacing the hallway." I remember thinking, he looks too young to be that scared. Cole smiled faintly, then frowned. Why was I kept out? She hesitated. There were complications. Your wife was confused, emotional. There was pressure. The coordinator, Sheila, she was forceful, said a baby needed to be placed quickly, said it was a mother's wish. "But it wasn't," Cole said, voice hardening. Donna shook her head. "I didn't think so either. But I was a nurse, not a supervisor. I did what I could. I kept a copy of one discharge tag before they shredded the rest. I don't know why. Maybe I knew something was wrong." She reached into her purse and pulled out a folded plastic envelope. Inside was a faded ID slip. Baby boy H, January 7th, 4:12 a.m. No signature, no birth weight recorded. "My name's on the nurse line," she said. "I bathed that child." Swaddled him. He had a dimple on the left cheek. Cole's throat tightened. "Thank you," he whispered. Donna's eyes glistened. "I'm sorry I didn't say anything sooner." But if you found that boy—" "I have," Cole said. "His name is Liam." She nodded, a hand over her mouth. "Then please tell him he was never unwanted." That night, back at home, Cole tucked Ethan into bed. "Dad," the boy whispered, "are you sad?" Cole blinked. "Why do you ask?" "You were looking at that baby hat again." "You do? That when you miss something," Cole smiled gently. "I think I missed something I never knew I lost." Ethan reached out and touched his hand. "Is it okay if someone else lives here too?" Cole froze. Ethan shrugged. "The boy who looks like me." "I like him," Cole exhaled. "You'd be okay with that?" "I could show him my superhero cape." Cole ruffled his hair. "Then maybe we'll see him again soon." In his study, he opened a drawer and placed both Beanie's, Ethan's, and Liam's into a velvet box, side by side, right where they belonged. Cole stood alone in the dim light of his penthouse kitchen, hands wrapped around a mug of coffee gone cold. His gaze drifted out the window to the city lights of Chicago, but his thoughts were far behind him, 5 years behind, in the maternity hallway of St. Mary's. The phrase, "there were complications," rang louder now. He remembered being asked to wait. He remembered the silence afterward. He remembered Lauren, pale and distant, refusing to talk about the birth. And now, after everything, the question loomed. Had she known? Had Lauren chosen to give one of their sons away? Or had she been manipulated too? The next morning, he sat across from her at a quiet rooftop cafe in Lincoln Park. She still wore elegance like armor, cashmere scarf, sunglasses despite the overcast sky. Her hair was swept into a sleek bun. Controlled, like always. "Why the sudden meeting?" she asked, sipping tea. Cole didn't flinch. "I need to ask you something." A pause. "Is this about Ethan's birthday?" "In a way," he said. Then carefully, "Do you remember the coordinator assigned to your delivery?" Lauren lowered her cup. "I don't remember much at all." "I was drugged. There were complications. Lauren, do you remember delivering 2 babies?" The words landed like a thunderclap. Her mouth parted, but no sound came. "Because you did," Cole said. "Twins." She blinked. "What?" "One of them was placed in a private adoption by a coordinator who's since been banned." "You weren't told?" "No," she gasped. "No, Cole, I swear." She broke down, shoulders trembling. "They told me. One of them didn't make it." That I was too weak to see. I believed them, Cole. I believed them because I was scared. Because they told me I wasn't strong enough to know. Her hands clenched the napkin. "I should have fought harder. I should have asked you." I failed him. Tears welled in her eyes for the first time in years. They said one of the babies didn't make it, that there were complications and they had to. They told me not to ask questions yet. I was grieving. Then they brought Ethan in and Her voice cracked. "I thought I lost one. I mourned that baby for months, but I couldn't even talk to you about it because you never asked." Cole's stomach turned. "I didn't know what to ask," he said softly. "They kept me away. They said you were fragile. I thought you needed space." They sat in silence, 2 people realizing they had both been victims of the same lie. "His name is Liam," Cole said finally. "He's 5. He's been alone since his adoptive parents died in a car crash. He's Ethan's mirror image." Lauren wiped her eyes. "Oh, God. He doesn't know how to trust. But he's strong. He survived things no 5-year-old should have to. And now, he needs family." She nodded, distant. "Can I see a picture?" Cole took out his phone and showed her a photo. Liam huddled in the alley, clutching the beanie, his eyes wide and wary. Lauren reached out and touched the screen, lips trembling. "I want to meet him. If he'll let me, we'll take it one step at a time." Later that day, Cole stood in his hallway, one hand resting on the frame of the boy's bedroom door. Ethan was drawing. Crayon lines sprawled across the page. two stick figures holding hands. One wore a red cape, the other a blue one. Both smiled under a yellow sun. Cole swallowed hard. He walked down the hall, opened the linen closet, and pulled out the spare quilt. Then he texted Marcus. "Can you coordinate with child services? I want to bring Liam home, just for a few nights." As a kinship care placement, Marcus replied instantly. "Already in motion." "I'll handle the paperwork," Cole exhaled. He folded the quilt and placed it on the bottom bunk. That evening he told Ethan gently, "We're going to have a guest for a few nights." "Liam?" "Yes." Ethan's face lit up. "Can he have my top bunk?" "You sure?" "I'll sleep on the bottom. That way he can see the stars I put on the ceiling." Cole smiled. "Thank you, buddy." And for the first time in years, the apartment felt like it was preparing for something more than silence. It was preparing for a reunion, a home, a second chance. The knock came at 6:47 p.m. Cole opened the door to find Liam standing beside a calm, middle-aged caseworker named Maria Alvarez. Liam wore the same frayed sweater, zipped up high, and clutched a plastic grocery bag with his few belongings. His eyes flicked around the entryway like he was waiting for something to go wrong. "Hey there," Cole said gently, crouching to eye level. "Welcome, Liam." Liam nodded once, tight-lipped. Maria handed Cole a folder. Temporary kinship placement. "I'll check in by phone tomorrow. In-person evaluation next week. You know the drill?" He nodded. "Thank you, Maria." She smiled at Liam. "You're in good hands, okay?" Liam didn't respond, but his grip on the bag loosened a little. Inside, Cole walked slowly, letting Liam take in the space. The apartment wasn't ostentatious. It was warm, spacious, with tall windows and framed sketches from Ethan scattered along the hallway. "I thought you might want your own room," Cole said, "but Ethan insisted you get the top bunk." Liam blinked. "Why?" Cole smiled. "He said it has the best view of the glow-in-the-dark stars." They paused at the bedroom doorway. Ethan was sitting on the floor, lining up two sets of action figures, identical twins in red and blue capes. He looked up. For a heartbeat, no one spoke. Then Ethan jumped to his feet. "You came!" Liam nodded slowly. "Just for a little bit." "That's okay," Ethan said. "I already saved you the red cape. It's cooler." Cole watched as Ethan handed over the cape. Liam held it like it was glass. And then, the impossible happened. He smiled. That first night, Cole kept the evening quiet. Grilled cheese sandwiches, apple slices, warm milk. Ethan chatted non-stop. Liam barely spoke. When it came time for bed, Cole offered Liam a choice. Guest room or bunk room? Liam glanced toward Ethan, already climbing into the bottom bunk. "I guess top?" "Top it is," Cole said. He handed Liam a folded quilt. "This one's yours." Ethan picked it out. Liam touched it gently, tracing the pattern of tiny foxes stitched into the fabric. "You good?" Cole asked. Liam paused, then nodded. "Yeah." "Okay. Lights out in 5. Cole left the room, but lingered by the door. Inside, Ethan whispered, "Hey, Liam?" "Yeah?" "Do you think our capes make us fly in dreams?" A beat. "Maybe," Liam said, "if we dream the same thing at the same time." Cole closed his eyes. That night, he barely slept. He checked the monitor twice. Each time, he saw the same thing. 2 boys, 2 mirrored shapes, sleeping on either side of a single room. The next morning brought a quiet rhythm. Pancakes for breakfast. Ethan showed Liam the cereal drawer, the secret Lego stash, the star map on the ceiling. Cole made coffee and watched them from the kitchen island, his heart aching in ways he didn't expect. By afternoon, Liam laughed, an actual laugh, when Ethan chased him down the hallway with a foam sword. Cole almost cried. That evening, while folding laundry, Cole felt a tug at his sleeve. Liam stood there, eyes cautious. "Do you have any books?" "I do," Cole said. "Would you like me to read one?" The boy shrugged. "I guess." Cole sat on the couch. Liam climbed next to him. Ethan joined without asking. He opened the book. "Once upon a time," There were two little foxes who lived on opposite sides of the forest. They listened. No questions, just silence. And when the story ended, Liam whispered, "Dad?" Cole's hand trembled slightly, but his voice was steady. "Yes, Liam?" Liam didn't say anything else, but he leaned his head against Cole's arm, and for the first time in 5 years, Cole felt a space inside him finally click into place. The next morning, Cole stood in the lobby of St. Mary's Medical Center, shoulders squared, heart thudding. He hadn't set foot inside the building since Ethan's birth. The hospital smelled the same: bleach, plastic gloves, distant coffee. He asked for Donna Hayes. The receptionist blinked, then paged someone. 10 minutes later, a woman in her early 60s walked out of the staff corridor. Steel gray bun, sharp eyes, steady hands, the kind of nurse who'd seen everything. "Mr. Harrington?" she asked. He stood. "Yes. Thank you for meeting me." They sat in a small break room with a vending machine humming in the corner. "I remember you," she said, studying. "Him. You waited outside OR 3 for 6 hours. You wouldn't leave," Cole nodded. "I've had questions since that day. And now, I have reason to believe I never got the truth." Her expression darkened. "Go on." "My son Ethan was born here 5 years ago, but I recently found a boy, Liam, who looks exactly like him. Same age, same birthday. He was adopted out of St. Mary's. The paper records from that week are gone." Fire, Donna exhaled slowly. "I know." "You know?" "I was there the night your wife delivered," she said, her voice tight. "There were twins. 2 healthy boys. But the attending coordinator, Linda Frayne, stepped in with a private placement file, said one child had complications, that there was a prearranged open adoption. Cole's stomach dropped. There was no adoption. "I realized that later," Donna said quietly, "when news came out that Frayne was forging consent forms for cash. She was terminated, but by then, it was too late." She stood, walked to her locker and pulled out a small, white envelope. Her hands trembled as she held it out. "I kept this. I shouldn't have, but something about that night never sat right with me." Cole opened the envelope. Inside was a tiny, folded hospital beanie, blue-striped, identical to the one he kept in his top drawer at home. His breath caught. "You're sure this is his?" "I labeled it myself." The other went with Ethan. They were swaddled side by side. Cole sat in a stunned silence. "I'm so sorry," Donna whispered. "I was scared. I buried it. But those boys, your boys, deserve the truth." He stood and held out his hand. "Thank you," he said, voice thick. "This means everything." She nodded, eyes glassy. "You give that boy a home. And forgive yourself. You were robbed too." Back at home, Cole entered the boys' room after bedtime. Ethan was asleep. Liam sat cross-legged on the top bunk, drawing something with a pencil stub on the back of a cereal box. "Couldn't sleep?" Cole asked. Liam shrugged. "Just thinking." Cole sat on the shin edge of the bed. He pulled the small beanie from his coat pocket and held it out. "This used to be yours." Liam blinked. "What?" "When you were born, you had one just like this." So did Ethan. He opened his hand, and Liam gasped. Reaching into the pocket of his frayed sweater, the boy pulled out something carefully folded, worn thin from handling. Another beanie. Identical. They stared at each other. "Yours still smells like soap," Liam whispered. Cole smiled, but his eyes shimmered. "It's proof," he said softly, "that we were meant to find each other again." Liam's bottom lip trembled. He looked down, then slowly reached forward and pressed his beanie against Cole's. Side by side, twin stripes, 2 little mirrors reunited. Cole wrapped his arms around the boy, and this time Liam didn't flinch. He leaned in. "I thought no one wanted me," he whispered. Cole's voice cracked. "I didn't know I lost you. But I promise, you're home now." And that night, for the first time in his life, Liam fell asleep holding something he never thought he'd find. Family. Saturday morning dawned with soft light spilling through the windows. Cole stood in the kitchen flipping pancakes, still half in disbelief that he now had two sons. Two voices echoing down the hallway, arguing over who got the red cape today. He could hear them giggling. "You took it yesterday." "But you had the blue one on Tuesday." "That doesn't count." Cole smiled. He stacked the pancakes into two neat towers, added whipped cream eyes and blueberry mouths. Superhero pancakes, as requested. "Breakfast," he called. Ethan bounded in first, followed by Liam, who still moved with caution, but less than before. As they sat, Cole couldn't help but feel the tension melt, the sense that something that had been broken was slowly knitting itself back together. "So," Cole said between bites, "what should we do today?" Ethan lit up. "Can we go to the park? The one with the giant rocket ship?" Cole looked to Liam. The boy hesitated. "Is it okay if I come too?" Cole's heart twisted. "You don't have to ask," he said gently. "Your family, Liam." Liam blinked, nodded, and picked up his fork again, more confident this time. At the park, the boys wore matching superhero capes, Ethan in red, Liam in blue. They raced from the slides to the climbing wall to the splash pad, their laughter carrying across the grass. Cole sat on a bench, watching, hands folded, the two beanies in his pocket like anchors. A mom nearby glanced at him, then at the boys, then leaned over. "Twins," Cole smiled. "Just reunited." She tilted her head. "They seem like they've never been apart. Maybe their hearts never were," he said. Back home, the boys curled up on the couch with a comic book. Cole watched them quietly, moved by how naturally Ethan reached over to show Liam a page, how Liam laughed at the same panels Ethan loved. Later, at bedtime, the routine was smoother than he'd dared hope. Toothbrushes, pajamas. The goodnight light flicked. On a dim, starry night projector they both now claimed helped keep aliens away. Cole sat on the edge of the bunk. "Want a story?" he asked. Ethan nodded. Liam didn't say anything, but didn't leave. "Tonight's about two brothers," Cole began. They lived on opposite sides of a forest. One in the trees, one near the river, but they both had the same dream. As he read, Liam slowly leaned closer. When the story ended, Ethan yawned. "Night, Dad." "Night, Ethan." Liam hesitated. Then, almost inaudibly, he whispered, "Night, Dad." Cole turned. His heart cracked open. "I'm right here," he said. Liam gave a tiny nod, and then curled beneath his quilt. The next few days passed in a rhythm Cole never knew he needed. Matching lunchboxes, school runs, homework at the table, morning giggles, evening cuddles. On Thursday, Cole came home to find both boys drawing pictures in the living room. "What's this?" he asked, kneeling down. "It's our map," Ethan said, "of the world we're going to build." Liam added shyly, "We made a flag too." Cole looked closer. Two stick figures, side by side. Capes, a heart between them, and beneath it, one word in big, wobbly letters. Family. Cole swallowed hard. "You boys are amazing," he said, voice low. "You know that?" They grinned, and for the first time in years, Cole felt something profound. Peace. Not perfection, but something stronger. A home that had been missing half its laughter. Now, finally, whole. It started with a photograph. A soft Sunday afternoon at Lincoln Park. Cole had taken the boys for a picnic. Just ham sandwiches, juice boxes, and a frisbee Ethan kept throwing crooked. They wore matching sweatshirts that read Team Harrington. Cole had knelt between them, arms around both, and someone nearby, a kind stranger, had offered to take a picture. Click. The moment froze. The three of them beaming, wind tousling their hair, the lake behind them catching sunlight like glass. Cole posted it quietly that night with no caption, just a heart. Emoji. He never expected it to explode. By morning, the photo had been shared across platforms. Two identical boys. One, powerful CEO. No context. Speculation ran wild. Twins? Long-lost son? Adoption cover-up? By afternoon, a hashtag was trending. The Harrington twins. Theories poured in, some sweet, some cruel. Cole's assistant called in a panic. Media outlets are reaching out. They're digging for names, photos, birth certificates. Cole hung up and turned to see Liam at the kitchen table, tracing letters in a coloring book. Ethan sat beside him, humming. They looked normal, but the storm was coming. Cole acted fast. He contacted Child Services to update their caseworker, then brought in his attorney to expedite the guardianship paperwork already in motion. He crafted a public statement. As many of you have seen, a private moment with my family has entered the public eye. Out of respect for two young boys adjusting to an extraordinary life change, I ask for privacy and kindness. All legal procedures are being followed under supervision of child welfare authorities. My focus, now and always, is their well-being. It was measured, direct, protective. Still, the media buzzed louder. Then came a twist. A former hospital administrator, Lillian Grayson, surfaced in a podcast interview. "I warned them years ago," she said, voice cold. "That coordinator pushed adoptions through back channels. Harrington's case wasn't the only one mishandled." The clip went viral overnight. Cole stared at the screen, jaw tightening. He called Marcus Webb, his private investigator. "Start pulling the files. Everything on St. Mary's. Every incident. Every name, Marcus was already on it." "Got it." "There's a pattern, Cole. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was systemic." "Then let's expose it," Cole said. But even as the legal battle brewed, his greatest concern wasn't the headlines. It was Liam. That night, Liam stood by the window, looking out at the streetlight glow. Cole approached slowly. "Hey, buddy." "Everything okay?" Liam didn't look up. "Why are people talking about us?" Cole exhaled. "Because some people saw a picture and instead of asking questions, they made up answers." "Did I do something wrong?" "No," Cole said firmly. "You did nothing wrong. You're brave and kind and strong." Liam's voice cracked. "What if someone tries to take me away again?" Cole crouched down beside him. "They won't. I promise you. You're staying here with me, with Ethan. But how do you know?" Cole reached into his coat pocket, pulled out both blue-striped beanies, held them side by side. "Because we found each other once," he said, voice thick, "and I will never let you get lost again." Liam blinked, his shoulders finally easing, and as Cole tucked him into bed that night, the storm outside grew louder. But inside their home, the light stayed on, steady, unshaken, and full of hope. The next morning, Cole stepped into the press room of his company headquarters, not as a CEO flaunting innovation, but as a father confronting a system that nearly broke his family. Behind him stood a simple banner, Sibling First Initiative. He wore no tie today, just a navy blazer and open collar. On his lapel, two small pins, each shaped like a compass pointing home. He looked out at the gathered journalists, their eyes hungry for drama. Instead, he gave them truth. 3 weeks ago, Cole began, I saw my son on Main Street and didn't recognize him. Not because I'd never seen his face, but because I didn't know he existed. The room went still. My twin sons were separated at birth through a failed system of oversight, negligence, and silence. One came home. The other vanished into adoption files that no longer exist. He let the pause hang. I am not the first parent to face this, but I intend to be one of the last. He outlined the Sibling First Initiative with clarity and purpose. Digital hospital record preservation, starting with high-risk maternity wards. Independent oversight for private adoption channels. Emergency kinship placement protocols. ensuring extended family are considered first in any child welfare case. Pro bono legal aid for families fighting wrongful separation. Trauma-informed care for children, reunified after long absences. Micro-grants for reunified families to access housing, therapy, and stability. Separating siblings without due process is not just a clerical error, it's a wound, Cole said, voice steady, and we owe it to every child to do better. Applause broke out, but Cole wasn't finished. Outside the room, Liam and Ethan waited with Marcus in the lobby, building a Lego spaceship. Liam looked up when the glass doors opened. Cole stepped out and knelt between them. "Guess what?" he said. "We're going to help other kids like you two stay together." Ethan grinned. "Like superhero brothers?" "Exactly like that." Liam looked unsure. "Even if they're far away?" "Even then," Cole nodded. "Especially then." That night, Cole opened a package that had arrived by courier. Inside, a notarized letter from the Department of Health and Family Services. Finalization of guardianship approval and recommendation for adoption proceedings to begin. Cole sat down hard. He'd fought so hard for the truth. And now, finally, they were safe. Fully, legally, and forever. He walked down the hall. The boys were in their blanket fort, flashlights glowing, books sprawled everywhere. "Guys," he said, voice catching, "how would you feel about making this official?" Ethan tilted his head. "Like a team name?" Liam blinked. "Like being real brothers?" "You already are," Cole whispered. "But now the whole world will know." Ethan leapt into his arms. Liam followed a second later. They didn't need any more papers, but still, Cole would sign every single one. The next day, Cole called Marcus. "Any update on Saint?" "Mary's?" "More than you think," Marcus said. "Found 6 other cases with irregular discharge forms, most tied to the same coordinator. 2 families never knew they had biological siblings." Cole's hand tightened around his phone. "Let's bring it to the state board." "Quietly for now. Already scheduled." "And Marcus?" "Yeah?" "Keep digging." He looked toward the living room, where 2 identical boys were setting up a superhero obstacle course with couch cushions and foam swords. "We're just getting started." The following Sunday, the boys were restless by sunrise. Cole had promised them something special. He packed ham sandwiches, apple slices, juice boxes, and tucked 2 small boxes into his coat pocket. They walked to the park as the golden morning settled over the trees, Chicago's skyline sparkling in the distance. "Is this a picnic or a surprise mission?" Ethan asked, bouncing beside him. "Both," Cole smiled. Liam held his hand tightly, his other hand clutched around a Lego figure. "Are there other people coming?" Cole hesitated, then nodded. "Some new friends. Some old ones." At the clearing, they spread out the blanket and unpacked the food. Then, Cole reached into his pocket. Inside the boxes were 2 identical silver lockets, compass-shaped with delicate engravings, one for Ethan, one for Liam. Cole knelt and placed one in each boy's hand. "Open them." The lids clicked. Inside each was a single word, etched in simple script. "Found." Ethan gasped. "Like lost and found?" "Like we found each other," Cole said softly, "and now we never have to be lost again." Liam stared at the word for a long moment. Then he whispered, "Is this just for now?" "No," Cole said firmly. "Forever." He pulled them into a hug. "This is home." Later that afternoon, other families began to arrive, parents holding hands with children, grandparents in wheelchairs, teen siblings, hesitant and quiet. They'd all received an invitation. Second Start parents and kids. A new support circle for families reunited after adoption, separation, or loss. Cole greeted each one personally. He didn't speak as a CEO, he spoke as a father. Some came with questions, others with silent tears. A mother from the South Side clutched her daughter's drawing. a picture of two stick figures and a broken heart sewn back together. A teenager brought a faded photo of a brother he hadn't seen since they were 3. Stories spilled out like rivers held too long behind a dam. And Cole listened to every one. Ethan handed out juice boxes. Liam showed the younger kids how to fold paper boats out of napkins. Laughter rang through the trees. Light, uncertain, but growing. A social worker approached Cole. "You've created something here," she said. "Something people needed, but never had the words for." Cole looked around at the scattered families, the tentative smiles, the way children leaned into parents like they were still testing gravity. "It's just a beginning," he said. "Sometimes," she replied, "that's the hardest part." As the sun dipped lower, the boys ran up to him. "Dad," Ethan called. "Group photo." Cole laughed. "Again?" "Every Sunday," Liam insisted. "It's tradition." They dragged him to the hilltop. A volunteer took the shot. The boys on either side of Cole, lockets glinting in the sun, a half-eaten sandwich in Ethan's lap, grass stains on Liam's jeans. Behind them, the picnic blanket fluttered, and for the first time Cole didn't feel like something was missing. He felt whole. He felt found. The rhythm of life changed, but not in the ways Cole expected. It wasn't the big gestures, it was the small ones. Morning cereal races between Ethan and Liam. Matching sneakers lined up by the door. The quiet weight of a little head on his shoulder during bedtime stories. And 2 blue-striped beanies, framed side by side above the fireplace. Cole rearranged his schedule. 2 days a week, he left the office by 2:30 p.m., no exceptions. He started doing school pickups. At first, he stood by the gate in his crisp navy suit, out of place among hoodies and yoga pants. Then he traded the suit for jeans and sneakers. One day, a mom smiled at him and said, "We didn't think CEOs did carpool." Cole chuckled. "This one does." At home, he read to the boys every night. Sometimes 2 chapters, sometimes 3. They took turns picking stories. Ethan liked heroes. Liam liked mysteries. Cole liked the sound of their breathing slowing beside him, the way they curled close without thinking. He lived for those pauses, the in-between moments, the space where love settled. One Thursday evening, he sat alone in his office, staring at the last letter he'd been avoiding, the independent review of St. Mary's. He opened it slowly. Recommendations. Mandatory dual-parent confirmation at all birth discharges. Closure of private coordinator loopholes. Digital backup of all birth records within 24 hours. New oversight board, including a chair from a family directly affected. Cole read the final line and froze. Recommended, Chair, Mr. Cole Harrington. He walked to the boys' room that night and found them all ready. Asleep, Liam's hand on Ethan's shoulder like he'd always been there. Cole lingered at the door. Then he did something he rarely did anymore. He picked up his phone. Lauren answered after 2 rings. Her voice was cautious but not cold. "Cole?" "I signed the review packet," he said. "It's moving forward." There was a pause. "I heard," she said. "They asked if I'd speak at the hearing." He waited. "I think I will," she said. "It's time." "Yeah," Cole whispered. "It is." Sunday came again. The park filled with familiar faces. New families, nervous hands holding lockets, old wounds slowly stitching. Liam and Ethan led the welcome game. "Name one thing you found again." A girl whispered, "My sister." A boy grinned, "My bedtime." One tired-looking dad said softly, "Hope." Cole stood back, arms crossed, smiling. Marcus joined him, coffee in hand. "Never figured you for the picnic circle type," Marcus joked. Cole smiled. "Me neither. But here you are." "Yeah." Cole watched as Liam handed a key, sandwiched to a shy newcomer. "Here we are." That night, after tucking the boys in, Cole turned off the hall light and started to walk away. But Ethan's voice floated out of the dark. "Dad?" "Yeah, buddy?" Ethan's voice was sleepy but clear. I always felt he was already my brother, even before there was silence. Then Liam whispered, "Me too." Cole stood in the doorway, eyes stinging. He pressed a hand over his heart. Finally, whole. Finally, home.